citrus fruit in the language of tarot. So we would put citrus fruit. Si toto momo. We don't know because maybe we need to do the voiceover. So what just came to us was what would citrus fruit be in the tarot? What archetypal energies? For us, citrus fruit is a really big part of our healing. So all physical ailments and dis-eases manifest in the bottom three chakras: red, orange, yellow. And we have all of that in citrus fruit. Grapefruit's really good for losing weight and breaking down fat cells. We think that's, always do your own research. We think that's what it is. This is what's off our top of our head in the moment. Oranges are good for vitamin C, although we have heard there's more vitamin C in a potato skin than an orange. Lemons are, so lemon essential oil is really good for contracting muscles. So we have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so we use that a lot. Lemons are really good for detoxifying the liver. Apparently there's only one food that there's not very often some things that have the same molecular structure as the body. And we read that there's only one. We don't, we have to back that up. We don't know if that's true, but then we don't really believe in truth anyway, because we believe that as a society and as a collective of humanity at the moment, that there's a lot of things that are understood back to front and upside down, and there's a lot of stuff that's believed to be fact or truth at the moment, which we think is quite naive and ignorant, when the multiverse, the universe, is infinite, and we don't really know. The more we learn and the more we know, the more we become aware that we don't know a lot, or the more we become aware, the more the ratio, the more expansive, and so the ratio, we don't know, gets bigger, gets smaller. Basically, the more you know, the less you know. It's the paradox, and to understand that, one just has to go through certain experiences. So anyway, lemon has the same molecular structure as the liver, and our liver needs and everything in the body can regenerate. We can make our own stem cells. We just have to fuel our we do it naturally when we're young, and then we get to a certain age where things plateau, and then if we want to continue regenerating the body and surrendering the conventional belief systems that as we age we degenerate, because muscle knows no age, it just knows health and resilience and strength. And so how we move, how we breathe, how we fuel our body is whether we will go down the path of regeneration or degeneration. So lemons give our liver support to detoxify, and they actually have the same molecular structure apparently, which is fantastic, and it's the only food with the same molecular structure in your body. And then you've got limes, and we don't know too much about limes, but basically citrus fruit to us is amazing, all of it. The rind, the bist, the white stuff's meant to be really good for you, and the rind, they're really good as a prebiotic to feed your probiotics, so as a food to feed your healthy, happy, friendly gut bacteria. So we grate that and then freeze it, and we take that. We're hopefully going to dehydrate it and make it into a really fine powder, because the smaller the powder, the smaller and the more diversified the bacteria, and the easier the fuel can be digested by the bacteria, like worms in a compost. The compost will make soil quicker if the food is chopped up smaller, because it's easier and less work for the worms to then eat and produce their excrement as waste. So, which is the soil. So you've got your red grapefruits, we're talking about now, particularly oranges, lemons and limes. And so we would put them with the royals, because your bacteria, we see humans to be the gut bacteria of Mother Earth, and if the royals in the tarot are perceived to be people, whether it's internal characteristics or external or messengers, or helpers. That's what the gut bacteria does, whether it's the gut bacteria, the skin bacteria, or the gut biome, the skin biome, the nose biome. Every orifice, basically, there's a biome. A biome, an ecosystem that goes on. And so we want to create a symbiotic ecosystem, an ecosystem with a harmonic synergy. I think we're using all the words in the right way there. Feel the energy behind the words. We put more out through our heart. So for us, limes, we started on limes. Limes is green. Green is the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is more about emotions and expression. And so we'd put that into the queens. So, and which would probably be water. But we would do earth and water. I think the queens have their set. I think queens are water, and then with that you have water and earth, water and water, water and fire, water and thingy type thing. Or it's like 2/3 of one and 1/3 of another. So the limes would be the queens, because it's the heart chakra, it's emotions, it's expression, and there's a lot more. Like, we don't really know what's good about limes from maybe what we've read or a factual point of view, or what's going to come out in the moment, but we know instinctively and intuitively that they're amazing for you. So there's like this hidden intuitive knowledge, this unseen knowledge which is very feminine. So limes are the heart, and then we go, well, what would the others be? And then we thought, well, red grapefruit would be the root chakra. Why would that be with the root chakra apart from being red? Well, no, that doesn't make sense at all, does it? Red grapefruits would be the root chakra because it's red. And it's like, well, red, the root chakra, is from the conventional current understanding of chakras, the young one, the first energy, the primal. And so we'd put that to the page, although we think the very first young age energy to come about is the heart. Everything for us starts in the central pivot of balance, which is the heart. For us, that's where it is. And then it would go down to the root chakra or up to the crown chakra. Well, it doesn't, because when you say it goes down and then up, there's that's coming from a linear perspective, and there isn't a linear perspective in the reality and the realms and the dimensions that we're talking about. So, but we have to put it into kind of a linear concept to be able to understand. So this is helping us understand in yoga, when you get taught stuff and then down the line you get taught more stuff, but the stuff that you get taught down the line after you've been doing it for a couple of years is completely opposite and makes what you were taught ages ago an untruth. And it's like, well, why were we taught that if that wasn't truth? And it's like, because we need these stepping stones to go from our current state of awareness or understanding in the body or the mind or the heart to then get to the more accurate, aligned, harmonic consciousness, because the consciousness before can only work in a certain boundary, dance in a certain boundary. So red is the younger one. Pages are the youngest, but they're not like a baby young consciousness. They're more of a teenager consciousness, where there's a sense of identity coming into play. That's how we perceive the pages to be. And so the red grapefruit would be the root chakra. It's also, red's related to Aries and the Emperor. Aries is the youngest in the natal chart. So grapefruits belong to pages, limes belong to queens, your oranges belong to your second chakra. And what came there for us was running. So when although this all went through our head earlier, and when it goes through our head between different ones of us, it's really hard to get out. And then it's like, well, now we're in a different energy because we're doing this, and we haven't got a clue what was going on then. So this will be interesting. So the oranges, when you're running, it's very common that you get oranges chopped up into quarters, and you get the orange and you put it in, and so it's got your rehydration, you've got your vitamin C. You need vitamin C to absorb iron. Iron is what stops fatigue, so that helps with running. Running is movement. And guys, we have to use our words. Oh, this is exciting. we need movement in the orange chakra, because although the queen is the heart and that's the emotions and that's related to water, the physical ailments manifest in the physical body, and the physical body relates to red, orange and yellow. So the water, that even although it relates to emotions in the heart, it gets processed through your digestive system. It's actually the colon, the large intestine, the ascending colon and the descending colon, the large intestine, that filters out the water. So the water is the emotions, but the water can get stagnant. Tito Momombaina. That's Russell. That's Tito Pomo. So Russell and is in the land in England now. We connected to the land, you see. That's what we talk with lots. It is, my lovelies, isn't it? And you're conveying these messages to us, aren't you? And Jenny Florence has just started going out onto the land, and she's just been to Glastonbury tour. Glastonbury, we've been there lots. We haven't we been there lots? We're not lots, but we've been there quite a few times. And we've drunk their water, haven't we? Oh, we've drunk the water from that, which contains iron. Oh, it's all coming together. And Mariana from MN Tarot, she's going on about stone circles now. And we've done all the stone circles. We've done quite a few of the stone circles down here, but the ones we were talking about were the Merry Maidens and the freestanding stones next to the Fugal, which is where our van broke down. And this is the story with Mummy. We do same route as Mummy, but we didn't know. But we know after we did it because we read a diary, and it's in a diary. Yeah, and she was connected to the Native American Indians, which are connected to the land, which give us Snowflake, because you're Snowflake Collective, aren't you? Yeah. It's all coming out, isn't it? Exciting stuff. So yeah, Em and Terry's just been talking about the stone circles, which brings us all back the way back to when we went around West Penwith for the 9 days, 10 nights. I think it fits in with like Odin mythology. And we were nervous because it was around Christmas and New Year, 2011, 2012. And that's when you have a lot of the main energy waking up things. But we do it differently. Yeah, we did it very differently, didn't we? And so that's a whole other story, which we will do. But so that's all West Penwith. And you've got loads of quartz crystal around here as well. So things get amplified, especially where we are currently living. So everything gets amplified. We needed to come back to where we grew up to be regressed on many levels energetically. We'd already still started the backward clock when we moved to the Southern Hemisphere and lived over that way for 5 years. 3 years in New Zealand and a year around Australia and then East Asia for another year. So that got the wheel of energy spinning backwards, and then we came back here, which continued the wheel spinning backwards with the energetics to unwind the unhealthy wiring that had gone on before, but it had to be done by doing the yoga and everything that we did to break everything. So when we did that trip, there's more to it, but that's St Michael's Mount is the Mary's and Michael ley lines, which then it's the heart chakra at Glastonbury Tour, which is where those ley lines, I think it's both of them, it's definitely because that's St Michael's Tower, which brings in the tower energies, number 16, which we've been going on about heaps. So you've got the balance of the left and right, the Gemini, the mutable energies that we're in at the moment. We've just watched some Molly McCord stuff earlier or yesterday, when she's bringing in everywhere's bringing in the body consciousness now as well, which we love because it's feeding us the words to go with what we are already physically experiencing. We just struggle with the words, so then we've just got to get the words, and we find the words that work for us, because if they don't work we get triggered by them because of our super hypersensitivity and our autism. It's beautiful in a way. We would have never chosen this type of path whatsoever to gain these insights and this awareness. And we'd lost our 4th Reiki symbol as well. We hadn't lost, but misplaced it for ages. And when we started sleeping on the lounge floor again, and Sagittarius is the other end of Gemini, and that's higher learning, isn't it? So we're getting the higher learning, the faster vibrations, which aren't connected to the bodies of us, with the Gemini, the lower learning that's connected to the body. So we're connecting. It's the Tomo. Oh, that's wonderful news, guys. We've been waiting patiently for all of that, and there's still no rush, okay? But we found it. It's underneath the big salt lamp in here underneath the like tea trolley on the floor, and it's the symbol for mastery of enlightenment. Not saying that we've got the mastery of enlightenment, but we've got releases in our free middle toes now, because it's our free middle toes that get hammered and hooked. But we're all connecting on the energetics. So there's another bit of a connection going on. So you've got the St. Mary's and St. Michael's ley lines, which is the feminine and masculine, that are very connected, which go past very close again to where we live, but we've spent a lot of time on them. We used to park up near St. Michael's Mount before we'd do our care work, or sometimes before we'd go to our yoga teacher training down near Penzance, or autistic care support worker. And they go up to St. Michael's. You've got the water, like we said, with the iron. That's there where Jenny Florence has just gone. So there's our energy blueprint then from many different ones of us. So the ones of us energetically that watch the tarot and watch people, when they then go to these land masses, it connects the energetics. We've had the physical, and then we've had different ones of whatever, but because of the fragmentation there isn't a connection. But with all what's happening at the moment, there's connections going on. We haven't got the words for it. So this is the orange we're talking about, and the orange, the root chakra. So a lot of people, we've noticed, they have very skinny legs but have very big bellies, which shows that the root chakra, so you can either be deficient or not efficient, that's good, deficient or excess, and efficient's in the middle. And so if you're in excess, you can have big legs, and if you're deficient, you can have really skinny legs. And if you're efficient, there'll be a balance between the two. But some people can have really skinny legs and a big belly. We used to be someone that would have bigger legs and a smaller belly, because from one perspective we had control of our emotions. We've always known that there's stuff that needs to be sorted out. We've been on this self-awareness and self-development journey since we were 18, and we've been aware that there's stuff going on that we just can't connect to. It's not from a lack of want or a lack of trying, but we knew that it would present itself when we were ready. But we were made to hold our stomach in when we were kids, so we've had certain muscles which, again, down the line we'll be able to describe this and explain it a lot better, hold stuff in. So therefore we'd have a very hourglass small waist but then bigger legs, but the legs never used to function properly. So although we presented to be functioning properly, we weren't, because it wasn't aligned. Our energetics of our structural body wasn't aligned to the deeper depths of our core. Our core wasn't there. We had no balance. Our spatial awareness wasn't very good. We had to consciously teach us stuff that generally for the average person comes automatically. It uses up a lot of energy. So the oranges, running, movement, vitamin C, iron that we said before. So that is the second chakra, because if we don't move in certain ways that's in alignment with our external, that's in harmonic alignment and interconnection between our external reality and our subjective reality, which we believe is a lot of society, because it's hard, because society's based on intelligence to be an academic perspective, and it's either you're good with your academic and your brain, or you're good with your body. But the very few people tend to be good with their brain and good with their body. And then you've got the people that have the potential to be good with their body but aren't because they've got trauma, and so they get hooked into addictive substances, food, drugs, sex, alcohol, because it's part of the body and it's through the sensory systems. Or there's the people with trauma that get caught up more so in the academics and the mind and just become more dissociated and separated from their body because they're going down it from an intellectual point of view. And so this would be where you'd have emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence just being two of many intelligences. Our auntie taught us that there's at least 7 main important ones, which would correlate with the 7 chakras. And she was a highly intelligent lady. She died of cancer. And when she went to the doctor, you'd have like 12 professionals in there. You'd have doctors, specialists up there, specialists, trainee doctors, because it's Ursula's coming in again. She's an ex-nun, hugely academic, but also connected to her body, but not as connected to her body again because she used to love watching us do yoga when we went out there. And so that brought a deeper connection and understanding into the body. But she was deeply connected to her internal body and her subjective reality, but not her external body and the superficials, the muscles. But her core she was. And they'd come in because she would ask her specialist, the questions. Of course, he wouldn't have the answer. And she'll go, well, this is what my answer is in my research. And you get everyone taking down the notes. And she saw herself in us. When we asked Rob on one of the things to pull a thing, he pulled he couldn't do a reading. All he got was a purple cloud, and she's an ex-nun. She was married before she passed to an ex-monk or priest. Very enlightened compared to the average person. She suffered a lot of physical pain. So there's so many similarities between us. So for us, religion and spirituality from a shamanic nature, Native American land perspective, and a cosmic, religious, man-made perspective, it's in our blood. And our disabilities, our invisible disabilities, physical and mental, but mostly mental for what we're about to say, has given us... So initially, from the victim consciousness, it would feel like we've had it taken away from us because from a societal point of view, our intelligence isn't there. We don't do things the way society does, even though we've attempted to put in 200, 300, 1,000% effort, and we still come out kind of around average, just above average, or in some things below average. And for the effort, the exchange of energy and effort we put in, there's no correlation there. But see, this is the whole point. We need to live our own experiences. We have the universe within, we have the multiverse within on the fractal geometries. We have all the answers within, and we can get those answers from watching, witnessing, observing nature for that patternology. And then that comes through our own experiences. So that's why we've programmed that the most important information that we give out is through our heart electromagnetic field to the watcher, the viewer, the listener, the person we interact with, whoever it is, so that they then will gain the experiences they need for the most fulfilling life, where there's this symbiotic relationship going on with nature and their heart and them, because they are nature. We are nature. Humans are nature. We are like Earth, and our bacteria are the humans. So we are the bacteria of Earth. It's that fractal geometry. It's inceptions. It's the pattern within the pattern within the pattern. So we need to have movement through all our energetic bodies. Physical movement in our digestion, movement in our communication, which could be arm communication with sign language, it could be communication with writing, it could be communication with movement again. And for us, it's about having a balance between all of these things. Communication through primal sounding, trauma sounding, to pass through our traumas. communication through beautiful sound healing, sounding and vocal toning, communication through our Litterland's words, communications through the light language words, communication through adult conventional societal words, which is the most limiting and the least important one through the perspective we're talking about. But from conventional society as it is at the moment, it's the most important one. Another thing we feel society is getting backwards and getting wrong, to go into reality language. So orange relate to orange, the second chakra. So all the colours relate to each chakra, and then these are the meanings behind them. Oh, we're not talking about that though. We're talking about the royals. So red is the pages, the queens are the heart, oranges are the knights, because knights are movements and knights carry the messages, and you have your chemical reaction in your digestive system, and that's where the movement is, and that's the orange. But for that chemical reaction to take place in a healthy manner, we need to have connection with spirit, the universal life force energy in everything, and that's our breath, and that goes through the control house of our lungs, our rib cage, the solar plexus, which is yellow, which is the kings. So there is citrus fruit in alignment with the tarot and healing. Isn't it exciting?